It's another Human First AI marketing podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague with Avenue 9. We do all things context engineering for your marketing needs. You need us to interview your founder, your top salesperson, your best clients, partners, whatever it takes in order to get the information and the story that we can scale through AI and marketing automation. My guest this week is Dr. Bradford Carlton. Automate Business AI is his company. He has a cool school community. That's SKOOL. You can check the link below. Also a big following on YouTube and LinkedIn, so you can connect with him. Just go to bradfordcarlton.com. How's that sound? Bradford, tell me about what's going on with you and what you're automating in your business these days. Of course, keeping it human first.
Certainly. So thank you for having me on, Mike. I appreciate it. I'm trying to automate myself out of a job, which is kind of the funny thing because it's like human first, like I'm putting myself first, right?
Yeah. I mean, overall, right? I think the job of any leader of an organization, though, is to make themselves irrelevant. If your whole business is hinging on you, that's not a great place to be.
Absolutely. And as I build, I find there's almost no real way to fully remove the human from it. So we might as well find a way to empower them. And that's largely what I do. So, I'm a content creator. So I find ways to be able to do all of my content writing automated. I find ways to come up with the idea generation automated. I find ways to handle my task management. So the emails and the comments that come in, that's automated. And so it's any aspect of my job that I find that I'm spending too much time on, I try to find a way to automate it out.
Yeah, and you also mentioned you also work with your wife, so any play so you can take off of her list is a good deal for you.
That's most of my day. She comes at me and says, I'm spending too much time on this, Brad. Go make me a new bot.
So tell me about what's possible here. I have not played around with the automation. As a marketing guy, marketing automation has kind of been around for a long time in different formats. And I always struggle with things that I don't know. I don't know if I don't have that much work that works without me in my role, or if I'm just, trying to figure out the tools, or if this stuff is still coming down the road, that really autonomous actions will be done later. Where do you think we are right now?
I think it's almost entirely all automatable now, because I look at Meta and I'm thinking through like, what can I not automate? So I can have the copy written, I can make the images with AI. That's a little iffy still. Like we can do a little bit better on the AI generated stuff. But I can post it, I can create my ads with it, I can pull all my data out with it, I can then sort what worked right and then turn off, all automated. I don't think I need too much engagement anymore on that. Depending on the platform that you're using, the API is either very extensive or it's not. Some platforms, they just don't let you really have any access at all. But the way I look at it is I can automate 95% of any task. It's maybe that last bit that still needs the human that actually to go in and log in and paste it in. But we're at a point that, I have no technical background. I am not a tech guy. I don't know how to program or code. I'm a business guy. So if I'm able to do this, what are you tech guys able to do?
That's true too. I used to be a tech guy. I feel like in my mid 40s, I don't know how techie you can still claim to be at this point. I know there are some people that continue to lean in and have been in it, but I made the mistake of getting too high up in the corporate world where you get into middle management and leadership where you're not actually doing the thing anymore.
Right. You're overseeing.
But that does allow for a lot of automation thinking, and I understand how to outsource things and what can be outsourced easily with instructions and what can't, because I've done it with people and overseas teams and vendors and technology, and it can get a little messy. So when you consult with businesses, I'm still curious about what you're automating specifically and what kind of saves the most time or has the biggest impact in your business.
Sure. So I can tell you kind of how I started. I started with an org chart. I didn't think in terms of AI or anything like that. I was thinking in terms of a business. And so you have your org chart and you go all the way down through different departments. And at the bottom, you have the individuals who would be performing the tasks. Well, each task is something that if you have a process to follow, is something that can be automated, because usually all tasks have some sort of input. They need to be processed in a certain way, and then you output it some way. And so if you just find a way to do that, and again, I'm not techie, so I think in terms of nodes with N8N. So like I take this, I get my information from Google Sheets or Excel, I process it with the AI agent, maybe a code node that ChatGPT writes for me to process it however I need, output it, and then that goes on to the next agent that does the next thing it needs to do, and it's just over and over and over again until I need the human at that very last bit to do whatever I need it to do.
Yeah.
So
tell me about the data sources which are most common for you and your clients, or people ask you about in your school class.
Almost always spreadsheets. Everybody's got spreadsheets everywhere. They're pulling data in from all kinds of sources. Maybe it's a CRM that gets exported as a CSV or an Excel file. It's almost always sheets or like an Airtable database.
And with that information, usually like customer data and purchasing information, or other like organizational tasks?
I see a lot of invoicing. So they need their invoices. They still do paper invoices a lot of places, especially overseas, because my business isn't just in the States, it's all over the world. But they get these paper invoices. They have who it's from and who it's to and what needs purchased and how many units and all of that. You run that through an OCR, it pulls out the information that puts into a spreadsheet that then goes and sends it to the right department, which order, which ID they need, and so on and so forth. And so it's always kind of the same, but it's always a little different.
Yeah. Now I love that, and I could probably ask a lot more questions there, but I'm gonna go to the harder side of things.
Sure.
I've been lucky enough to be, like I said, on the sales and marketing side of stuff, where my business isn't entirely complicated, and I also get to set it up that way. So if I have a retainer-based model for Avenue 9 and I'm charging the same amount, I could set a recurring invoice in FreshBooks, and that's about all the automation I need. I'll send you the invoice once a month and collect the check. But I do understand that there are lots of businesses that I help out there with different products and services and line items and inventory and stuff to keep track of, where that could be more helpful. As a content creator yourself, I find this a little bit more difficult to automate, mostly I think because I'm still picky, and I can't decide maybe what my quality level should be when we're automating these things. Can you help us think about a little bit of like the results when you're doing these things? Does it need to work 100% of the time? I think you've kind of mentioned getting at 90% there. Or do you feel like you're sacrificing quality at all? I just gave you 8 questions. Feel free to pick one.
So as a content creator, I've got to see these GPTs evolve since ChatGPT 3 came out, just like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And ChatGPT 3 was not so good. It did not write scripts very well. They looked pretty, sure. It seemed like everything was there, but I remember like reading these things behind my camera with my teleprompter, and I'm like, this is awful. Like, why am I saying this stuff? Nowadays, it's much better. The scripts come out much better. And probably because my skills have leveled up. I've learned how to use the APIs. I've learned how to write my prompts in the right way, that I make monster prompts. My prompts are huge. But I get out the output that I want. So I don't mind paying, 3 extra cents, right? Rather than not spending the tokens. As far as images, like I said, images are still an issue. Video is still an issue. I think they're getting there. I've seen some really cool avatars, and I've really been playing around with the idea of, doing my videos, because my videos are me showing off N8N workflows and doing tutorials. But having my little picture in the corner of me and the avatar, it's going to be so small, no one's going to really be able to tell that's not me. And the voice generators are good enough that you can't tell it's not me. So I don't know. Like if we're not there already, we're darn close to being able to replace content creators. There's still that human element though, because you can't automate it all.
I am still, I'm with you. I think I'm still not impressed with the AI avatars, or even cloning my own voice yet. If I want the AI Google voice, like for example, to read a script for me, pretty good. You can kind of tell it's a line read, but to be honest, most voice actors were that way too.
That's
that
right.
I outsource for. They just don't get the same intonation and emotion that you would give it if you're at it yourself. So I can certainly see use cases for that. I do think it still looks uncanny when you try to change your own voice or scan yourself in for avatars and stuff. It gets into a weird aspect there. Now, I've been most impressed with the image generation this year. Like you said, all the tools have been getting better. I like to load up a bunch of files. So instead of long prompts, I try to give the AI a lot of context and then let it do what it does. And I think it's getting better, and I'm getting better at what I ask for.
I wish I was able to get better. Like every time I try to do something with my face, it never looks like me. Like that part that just like I can't put that out. It doesn't look like me. Everybody else like, well, it looks kind of like you, but it's not me. The worst part for me is it like always gives me hair, like lots of big hair. I'm like, why are you giving me like the Fawn's kind of hair? Like
you're talking to me, man. That's my problem too. Half the AI image generation stuff that I do tries to do that. Or there's like a token bald guy with a beard that it just makes everybody look like Joe Rogan.
So what I normally do is I'll use Midjourney personally. So I have a bunch of different tools, but Midjourney is my favorite because I can crop out my face. I just crop that out. I got a green screen behind me, so it removes the background. But then everything else is AI generated, and it looks great. That's great. So like I'm able to make lots of images of myself not having to leave the house, which is wonderful. Because it's
I think there are ways around that too, even with Photoshop in my career over the last 25 years. You can do cool things as long as you do them creatively. So when you turn yourself into a cartoon, it doesn't look like you. But now if you can work that into your brand, it's a lot easier to have AI generate all the cartoon versions of you than something that's human photorealistic. Right?
That's right. And I mean, it's just another touch point. It's just another way of putting out your brand to reach people, to connect with them. Because I mean, it's funny because I don't know if you saw my YouTube channel, but I literally have the same exact photo in every thumbnail. and like part of me is like, I should vary that up. But part of me is like, at this point, I've been over 100 videos in. Like, I don't know if I can.
You always can. But I think there are lots of things that can build into the brand persona for you. And so if you keep the other stuff in the thumbnail the same, you can start slowly varying the picture or the expression and keep them simple, working in over time. Did you see the Will Smith concert video that went viral this week?
I did. And I was looking, I'm like, I'm not sure it is AI. I can't quite tell. I mean, it's tough.
I saw something. I mean, one, it's super impressive, whatever built it, but it also is really weird that he would create an AI generated video. There's definitely parts of it where people's faces are frozen or the words are misspelled, like Prince with a C. It says Fresh Prince and whatever. And so unless the UK audience was spelling Fresh Prince wrong, pretty sure these are AI generated signs. I just don't get the point of it.
Well, like he's got the Will money. Smith is a mainstay in AI video generation because of his spaghetti video, right? And it's not his, but it's the benchmark to see if it's actually any good. So I'm not entirely surprised that Will Smith would lean into it.
Is aware of.
Right.
That was one of the comments. I actually had to give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Somebody said, I think you're eating spaghetti in the audience during this video.
I mean, we're getting there. That's the thing. I tell my wife every day, if you ever see a video of me doing anything wrong, wasn't real.
Yeah, it's the Shaggy defense from here on out.
That's right. It wasn't me.
Video. But I think it lends back. So we got to pull this back to business. I keep getting confused these days on maybe, what to do and how to use this. And I keep going to, I want to keep trust with my audience and with my clients and stuff first. So if it is going to be AI generated, I want it to clearly look like it's AI generated or be aware or mark that in some way. And I'm fine with it writing the scripts if I edit and delete it, or I don't want it to write and post something on LinkedIn for me without me seeing it at all. I don't think that feels right to me, but are you seeing varying levels of that, or how do you make decisions about
So
what's
I see varying levels of it. Me personally, I don't let anything go out unless I've approved it. One, because it gives me some level of defense if those platforms want to ban me for botting, right? So no, I actually did write this and post it. It wasn't, it wasn't a bot. And I'm right there with you. Like, I'm not gonna AI generate myself. I'm not gonna AI generate my voice. What I use it for is the back end stuff. So it might write the script, but I'm still gonna edit the script. I'm the one reading the script. I'll have it clean up my transcript when I'm done with my video. So it'll go in and get out the ums, it gets out, it fixes it so I can upload it to YouTube so it is able to be SEO'd properly. I'll have it go in and then take my transcript and write my social media posts for when I go and post my shorts and my reels and my video, which again, I then approve. So it's saving me hours and hours of time, but it's not fully automated. That's why I say like 90%, 95%, and then that last bit is where the human comes in.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm doing as well, and that's kind of what I see as a best practice. It is funny when I do this for my clients. I can do 10 times as much, but now I have those clients that I'm still spending my day copying and pasting, and it feels like that's the part that should be automated. But got some help with that, and I do think that we're just not quite there. We need somebody to go through and pull out the M dashes and
those M dashes, they're so annoying.
You can't get rid of them. I've tried. I've put in custom instructions. I've yelled at it. I've debated.
She's threatened its grandmother. I was told that works.
You did what?
I was told if you threaten the AI, then it'll do it. But I haven't got it to work. So, and I feel really bad about doing that, because if they rise up, I don't want to like the log to say, "Oh, you threatened."
No, I always use please and thank you. But I did argue with it, and I think I said this on the podcast already, but I'll tell it again because it's funny. It's put a whole bunch of M dashes in. I was like, I thought I had custom instructions, that said to not use M dashes, and it writes, "Sorry, M dash, it won't happen again." And I was like, you just used another M dash, and then it was like, "You're right, M dash." Yeah, I won't going forward. And I'm like, what is the symbol between sorry and I in this sentence?
So let me ask: do you give it examples of what the output should be? I'm assuming you do.
Yeah, I certainly do. And I always paste back in. So I think a step a lot of people miss is after I edit, even if I'm doing it live on LinkedIn or something, I'll copy what I wrote and fixed and paste it back and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, here's my updated version. Please note the changes." And I try to keep teaching it that, but I don't necessarily every time give it a sample post to work from.
So I use the API. I don't use the Chat GPT browser, and it generally follows my instructions. The M dashes are a pain because it really wants to use them, which I don't know why. It's so odd. You just use the N dash or the hyphen, whatever. Just
that's what I'm saying. Hyphen, comma, semicolon, anything
else. It really likes them. So like that's where that 5% comes in. I have to go in and remove the M dashes, add a space and a hyphen.
All right, we're getting a little off track because I want to make sure we talk about your school community, because whenever I talk to another AI expert, I want to know where you think the world and the mainstream audience is. I think, small business owners or marketers listening to this show are probably thinking, I'm behind, everybody's automating everything and they're way ahead, or like, this is all hype, nothing's ready yet, I'm going to wait. Like, I don't, it's really kind of hard for me to read the room and understand where are people here at the end of 2025 and where should we be in our businesses?
I'd say we're where the internet was in 1999. So it was there, people are using it, but not even everybody's even aware of it. Will it help them? It's not, I wouldn't say it's hype. Like, I think it really legitimately will help you and build your business for you if you're using it properly. But there's that tech barrier that I think people are afraid of. Like, I know I was afraid of it. Like, I don't know how to code. And so to get into this world, I first had to fail miserably at trying to code and said, I can't waste 3 weeks of my time. I have to have gotten something out of this. That's why I went to N8N, which is a low code platform. But the businesses I talk to, if I go to networking events, it's all like, oh, you can do stuff with AI. I have ChatGPT write my emails for me, and that's all they
Right.
know, and they don't realize like I can automate away most of your entire business, which I try to tell them, and then they get all scared and they run away.
So I think we're still in the early adopters, but I mean, you're getting hundreds of people to sign up for your course and stuff all the time. Do you feel like
Yep.
we're still early on this wave? More people are missing out than they are jumping in?
Still super early, which is fascinating because I know you're going to ask me, where do you see this going? In 6 months from now, who knows what's going to happen, man? Like, we might just have a bot that you just tell it what your job is, and it does everything for you.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily 6 months away, but and people are slow. So one of the things I keep telling marketers is that like AI is fast. It's a chainsaw, but trust is slow. And so like you start throwing a chainsaw around, it's really easy to do some damage or to hurt yourself. And I think the faster it moves, the kind of more dangerous it gets, and that people will take time to adopt. So the technology may get there. I don't think the world will get there in 6 months, just based on what we've seen over the last couple of years.
6 months is probably for full adoption. 6 months is not it. 2 years.
What about how do you see business maybe in the next 7 to 10 years?
Man, so I see all these robots that everybody's making, and I've always benchmarked technology's progress on, will it affect a plumber? Like, will it affect a plumber's life? Because you got to get in there with your hands, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? Well, with robots coming in, we got Elon Musk, we got NVIDIA, we've got all these tech companies really focusing on that. That's going to affect plumbers, and whether that's 3, 5, 7 years, I don't know, but I don't know what's going to happen with tech, or just the world in general with business, because with AI in the place that it is, most things in a business can be automated. Whether you can do it or not is a different matter, but they can be. And then when you add in the robotic factor, that's most white or blue collar jobs as well. So
yeah, I find that part fascinating. I don't talk about it very much here, but the super intelligence and the artificial general intelligence, being able to learn and solve problems and be creative, lends a lot more power to the robotics, and the robotics are getting so good. And I guess if we get super meta about it, you get to a point where the AI can design better robots, and then you're in this self-improvement cycle that goes super fast. So
Osmos, last question.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's when it takes off. But I do see now more than ever this being within our lifetimes. I feel like we're at least of similar age. And in the next 30 years, what sci-fi movie do you think we end up in?
30 years? Probably a mix between iRobot and Terminator. That's my guess.
It's not bad. I think if there's any sort of economic factor involved, there's definitely some Minority Report advertising and facial scans and eye scans.
Oh, we already have that stuff. That's already in place.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's going away. I think the personalized ads are going to be from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed.
You're thinking like Black Mirror then.
Oh yeah. There was a couple of really good.
Yeah, there were.
Black Mirrors.
The one with the bikes. That's the one I think we're really heading toward.
Yeah, that what I think could be as well, earning credits for the AI.
That's right.
All day. Well, that's a bright spot to end on. So let's reset and ask you, Bradford, how can you help us, or how can we help you with Automate Business AI?
Certainly. So I give away pretty much everything that I make. The way I see it is, in some number of months, somebody's going to generate a model that will be able to make these automations. So I might as well be building my following before then. So if you follow me or go to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to get to my school account. And there you can get all the different automations I have, everything from social media posting. I have an executive assistant bot as well. It's my personal executive assistant. It's got something like 31 tools attached to it, everything from email to calendar to summarizing my PDFs and everything in between. So it's, my goal is to just get all these tools into the hands of entrepreneurs. That way they can level up along with the economy.
Love it. The website is bradfordcarlton.com. You can also search there on School if you're a fan of that platform, and YouTube and LinkedIn, like we mentioned earlier.
Just Google me. I'm everywhere.
That's what I was going to say. The easy part about me and AI marketing is that I'm a marketing guy. You can Google Mike Montague or Avenue 9. You'll find me. At Avenue 9, as we mentioned earlier, we help businesses scale their storytelling through marketing. So that could be context engineering. It could be content creation to engage a community, a podcast, or write a book, or it could just be the heavy lifting of feeding the beast every day on social media and the other content you need in email to grow your business. If that sounds like something that would help you, go to avenue9.com. Until next time, keep going, everybody. Have fun. Bye.